What is going on, guys, and welcome back to another very exciting video. In this video, we are going to be talking about Palantir because Palantir over the last week or so has made another large move up. So what we are going to do is we are going to take a look at the catalyst that appeared over this last week that could really help Palantir's stock price over the next month and really leading into their earnings call. So if you enjoy the video, make sure you drop a like down below. And if you want to see more videos like this one, make sure you hit that sub button. Let's start off by taking a look at Palantir's stock chart. So here today, the stock actually moved down around 2%. If we go to the last 5 days, however, the stock is up almost 7% in just a week. If we look at the last month, it's actually basically traded sideways. And the reason for that is we saw Palantir shoot up and then it had this slight dip down and has really rocketed back up from the $14 mark to where it's sitting at now of around $16. What's crazy is when you look year to date, this stock is up almost 160%. Over the last year, it is up around 81%. So even if you were buying the stock a year ago at prices around $10, if you held for the last year, you are still up over 80%. In about a month, Palantir is expected to announce their earnings, and analysts are projecting that they will come in with 5 cents per share of positive EPS. That represents a year-over-year growth of 600%. Revenue projections, in my opinion, are a little bit low. Analysts right now are projecting them to come in with a number of $529.94 million in revenue. That is only up 12.04% year over year. For a company like Palantir, you'd really like to see that number in the 20 to 25 range at the very lowest, ideally 25 to 30% growth year over year. For the total year, analysts are projecting that EPS will come in at a positive 21 cents per share and revenue will come in at $2.21 billion. This represents a 250% gain year over year on EPS and a 15.76% gain year over year on revenue. And with those numbers, we can see that Palantir is currently trading at a forward PE ratio of 74.63. And in my opinion, anything above a 60 is where you start seeing companies become overvalued. It becomes difficult for companies to grow their EPS quick enough to keep up with those valuations. However, in Palantir's case, we have a big catalyst that happened over the last week that could really propel their earnings into the future. And in my opinion, what could really drive the stock market and especially Palantir up over the next year or so is inflation data. We are seeing inflation data right now come in at 3%, and that is way better than what I thought. I was personally projecting around 3.5% is where inflation would come in at for this month, and we saw it drop actually a full percent month over month. So the reason inflation is so important is down to the interest rates that the Fed is putting in place. If we see inflation continue to drop and drop down to the 2% target that the Fed is really looking for, we could actually see the Fed start to drop interest rates. And that could have a huge impact on Palantir's business for a couple of reasons. The first being Palantir's ability to reinvest into the business. When money becomes cheaper because the Fed is dropping interest rates, that allows a lot of companies to invest into new technology. And Palantir would be no different. They have had a strong focus on AI technology. They are one of the front runners in the industry. And when people look to invest in AI type of companies, Palantir is one of the top ones that they look at. So that is also going to be huge for Palantir moving forward because they can continue to invest in this AI technology. They can impact their business and help them better serve their customers. The second reason that interest rates dropping is so important is because Palantir is really trying to penetrate into a market that it can be difficult to get into. You are asking companies to spend a lot of money for software that they are not 100% committed to, and that is a big ask when the amount of money is as large as what Palantir is signing contracts for. So when interest rates begin to drop, a lot of these companies will have a lot more money available to spend on R&D and really expanding their business. And one of the things companies will be looking at with the AI focus that is going on in the market right now is Palantir, and if their software can have a large impact on their business. We've seen Palantir already show that they can impact businesses by their partnerships with Hertz and AWS, and these are good things to really get their name out there, but we really need to see interest rates drop so that companies are a little bit more comfortable with the risk of putting capital into this software. And this could be a massive catalyst in their next earnings report. We saw them announce that US commercial customer count increased 50% year over year from 103 customers in Q1 of 2022 to 155 customers numbers in Q1 of 2023. And we have even seen Alex Karp come out and talk about the fact that he is getting more calls in a single month from commercial customers than he was getting all year in 2022. So this is a massive catalyst that could really have a large impact on not only their EPS, but also their revenue moving forward. And these catalysts could really lead to analysts increasing their EPS numbers. We could see that in 2023, analysts are projecting 21 cents of positive EPS. However, that number only increases 4 cents in 2024 to 25 cents in positive EPS. So if we start seeing growth on the commercial sector, we could actually start seeing some of these 2024 numbers begin to increase. We may even see this high estimate be a lot more achievable of 30 cents of positive EPS. Palantir is expected to announce their earnings on August 14th of 2023. And personally, what I'm going to be watching for is their guidance. They should have a lot of positive guidance moving forward. We are seeing a lot of things in the market start moving in the right direction, especially for these smaller cap and a little bit more speculative plays like Palantir. If we start seeing interest rates potentially coming down in the back half of this year, that could be a huge catalyst for Palantir. I want to see them address that. I also want to see them talk about their commercial customer base. I want them to be converting a lot of these calls that they are saying they're getting into actual sales and contracts into the future, because that is going to really drive their revenue and their EPS moving forward. So with all of that said, keep in mind that I do own a small position in Palantir. I like the company for the long term. I think they have a lot of positive growth in front of them, especially if they continue this trend of growing their commercial customer base. So with all of that said, do not buy a company just because some random guy on YouTube talked about it. Make sure you are doing your own research and looking into companies that meet your risk tolerance as well as your time horizon. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you drop a like down below. And if you want to see more videos like this one, make sure you hit that sub button. And as always, guys, have a wonderful rest of your day.